It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is a part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Well, that's how we start the show normally. That's how we've been starting the show every week for almost 10 years now. As my co-host Andrew Duhon and I have been in various bars around New Orleans. We started out at the Columns Hotel, then we went somewhere else after they kicked us out of there, Casa Borrega, and then we went to Wayfair, and then we went to some other place on Ferret Street called the Ferret Beer Room. Then we went to the Maple Leaf, where we are currently, except now no bars in New Orleans are open, and so we're still sitting in our homes, strung out across, well, not necessarily that strung out, but in our homes, still quarantined, still quarantined in our homes across the city and across the state and across the country. Asher Griffith, who's our Facebook live feed director, is in, where the hell are you, Asher?
I'm in Greers Ferry, Arkansas.
Greers Ferry.
Yeah, you might have heard Greers is the first word. Ferry is the second word. Ferry.
Is there an apostrophe in it?
There's not, but I think there's, probably would have been had the place name been spelled correctly. This is Arkansas, after all.
Indeed.
I've got
the population. It's quite interesting.
This is Andrew Cirac, who's our fact checker.
We got 855
That's a big town. That's a big
Greers
town.
Ferry, yeah.
155 people.
855.
Yeah.
855.
What is coronavirus? What's the spread there?
Well,
this is our producer Graham daPonte. Graham, can you get closer to your mic?
Yeah, it was at least like 30 or 40 because the Greers Ferry Assembly of God all got it. From a visiting Brazilian missionary group, I think.
Somebody went from Brazil to Greers Ferry.
Yeah, Brazil just became number 3 in the highest COVID today.
This is Monique Pyle, our music producer. Number 3 behind who? Are we still number 1?
I think
they're behind Russia.
Yeah, it's us, Italy, and now maybe Brazil.
No, it's us, Russia, and Brazil.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the United States is still number 1.
Still number one, baby.
Yeah.
We're number one.
Right.
We're number one.
There's no way we're going to be knocked off
finger.
of that, right? Here's Chris Roth, who's one of our regular guests on the show for the last couple of weeks since we've been doing this random guest thing. Chris, where are you? You're in Uptown New Orleans, even though
I
it is on
am.
your...
I am actually sitting on my porch using a virtual background that looks like I'm on Magazine in Toledano.
Right. Why would you prefer us to think you're on Magazine in Toledano?
I just was playing with the virtual background to see what I had.
Just sort of feel dangerous. And here's David Wilkins, who's joining us as well from, where are you in Alabama somewhere, right?
Just south of Birmingham, Alabama. Roll Tide.
Okay, that's right. I forgot about that. Roll Tide. So what is the situation? What's the COVID-19 update from there?
Dude, we're opening it up like crazy around here. Bars are open. Restaurants are open with 50%.
Wow, 50?
Occupancy. Yeah. The bars, restaurants and bars cannot have a group over 8 people.
What?
Yeah. And a bar?
At one table. No.
One
table can't have more than 8 people at it.
But are the bars actually open? Can you
Yes, they are.
At the bar?
You can sit at the bar.
What if you have 9 kids?
There's no gap. I mean, you can sit right next to each other.
There may be a gap at the bar, but I haven't been into one yet.
I know a couple of people that went to some bars in Alabama on the beach, I guess near the Floribama, and those bars were packed last weekend, they said.
It's a goat rodeo, yeah.
Wow.
David, I have a question. I'm driving through Alabama tomorrow. What town are you in?
Pelham, Alabama. I'm right on 65.
Home of Oak Mountain Amphitheater, for all of you not in the know.
Yeah. Grandma,
and how are you in the know, Thomas? Did you just look that up?
No, I lived in Hoover, which is the next town over from Pelham. My parents were there for 14 years, and I've spent many a night at Oak Mountain. It's a great, great place.
Graham, what are you doing on your way over there then? Are you stopping off?
I'm not. Actually, I'm on 59, not 65, so that won't work.
So you're going to drive straight through. Are you
59
prepared
will
to
take you
stop and
through
get
out
something
through
to eat
Birmingham.
somewhere or go to a bathroom?
We've got some people in the waiting room who have a strong suspicion that they are not.
Okay, let's find out.
Do you have names?
We got
Joe
Diego
Smith,
here.
Diego,
Is
and
there
Alexander.
any way you can put these people in the green room and find out who they are before we get hacked?
Whoa,
again?
I just see, and 10 people are waiting. 9 people.
Why?
Yeah,
that's definitely-
in the
that's-
waiting
this
room.
is gonna get
Okay,
dangerous.
Cirac, it's on you.
I'm pulling the plug on them.
Oh,
Joan Switch with Switch misspelled. Is
Some of these people have got to be.
Good
legit,
morning.
right?
Oh, wait,
Jack Off is
Good
here,
morning.
guys, for sure.
wait, we got to get him
Here's
out.
Diego.
I don't like nigga.
Yeah,
There
he's got to go.
Okay,
Gotta go.
Cirac's on the case.
Hilo's got to
If you're just
go.
joining us for the first time. The last time we did this, we got totally hacked by all sorts of Russian pornography trolls, and they put all sorts of stuff.
Ooh,
there we
Jack
go
Off
again.
is trying to get in here twice,
Okay.
actually.
Very
Asher.
nice. That was
That sounds appropriate.
that was good. If I tell you what, if it's anybody who's actually having live sex, I think we should let them in. Rather, you know what I mean? That takes a bit of bravery, I think.
It's a shame you don't have a preview option on the waiting room, right?
Right?
Well, we do.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Yeah, we just don't know what the hell we're doing, really.
Why can't I remove Diego?
I'm trying to get
Yeah,
down to him.
You should be able to remove them.
I can't remove Diego
Why not?
What does it say?
just because I can't.
I'm working on it. Rename, put in waiting room, remove.
Oh,
Boom.
No.
So Graham, I'm familiar with having strange and wonderful guests come by the house. I'm a member of a website called Warm Showers. It's for traveling bicyclists. They
Sounds way more suggestive than a cyclist
Shower.
type should. Oh my God.
Cirac, can you look that up? It's called Warm Shower.
Yeah.
warmshowers.org. Yeah.
I think you get on the FBI's investigation list just by typing that into your computer.
Who was the last person you had from Warm Showers?
I had a couple of guys from New York that were actually coming to New Orleans. They stopped by the house. They had they were set designers at.
Hang on. Can you just
Sure.
can you just refresh
This
our
totally sounds bad for
just
sure.
the geography? I'm just interested in the geography. These people are biking
They're biking.
It looks
around the
from New
legit.
York to New Orleans.
It's legit. What?
How do you go through Mobile?
No. Birmingham. They were coming south. So it's-
Birmingham. Okay.
yeah, Birmingham.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay. So they almost were here. Then they've got as far as
Almost.
Birmingham.
Yeah, they were coming through Birmingham and they stayed at the house for a couple of nights. Got fueled up, soft bed, hot shower, washed their clothes, and then headed on down to.
What's the
New
deal?
Orleans.
Do they tell you when they're on the way? Like, hey,
Yeah, they
David,
do.
we're in.
Some of them will send me a text, and I'll immediately respond to them and say, no, send me a message over the website so that I'll be able to check their karma rating on the website to make sure
Nice.
they're legit. But I've never had a bad experience at all.
You ever had a bad warm shower?
No.
That's
Do you
pretty
go
interesting.
to, like, do you bike to them? Do you bike
Say
to
what?
them and take showers at their place? Other members?
I didn't get the part.
Do you
first part of it.
reciprocate and go and take showers at other people's places?
If I were biking across the country, I would definitely
Yes, but
sign
do
up for
you?
warm showers. I don't know. I don't go to other
No. So
people's
you just on this to try and get young people to come and stay at your house on their bicycles.
It's just a way for me to, instead of having to drive my car around it, people just come by the house and less work on my part
Yeah,
to abduct somebody.
Yeah, does sound like how the Texas
my
Chainsaw
God.
Massacre gets started. Dude.
What kind of people are members of Warm Showers besides you? Who's some more? Are there
First
people
guy
who?
that- First guy that came by was from California. He'd been to Boston. He was on his way back, and he ended up spending some time in Alaska, being a dog sled guide in Alaska. Just super interesting people. The currency we trade in is I provide hot meal, warm shower, soft bed, and they tell me stories from the road.
Mm.
Wow.
And what do you do with the stories? Do you record them or do you write them down or anything?
I should. I really should. I really should write them all down. But
You
you know,
should
they
do a
talk
podcast.
Yeah, that actually would be
That's
pretty
Joy,
good
that
too.
would
Yeah.
Yeah.
the hills coming into my neighborhood are just brutal. So I don't get a lot of visitors. The ones that check the topographical map beforehand don't stop at my place. They just keep going. But,
So everyone who does show up at your house is pretty surprised and winded.
yeah, they are.
So who lives at your house, David, besides you?
Just my wife and I and my 2 dogs. So I'm an empty nester. I got 2 grown youngins, and
Where are they?
one's in Birmingham, one's in Eufaula, Alabama.
All right.
That's
Not
in
too
a,
Down by Auburn, huh? Is that person
Yeah,
in
just-
school?
No, she's not. She's a special education teacher at a elementary school down in Eufaula, Alabama, doing God's work down there. That's
How do you spell that place?
Eufaula, EUFAULA.
Wow.
I want to go back
It's-
just a second.
Cirac.
As a cyclist, I feel like we seek out like mountains and like steep inclines. So like, I'm surprised you said that. Like, I would kill for a mountain somewhere within 50 miles of New Orleans.
Dude, these are 200-yard hills at like 18-19%.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, but if you're pulling a pack up that hill, it's a lot.
Uh-huh.
And if Gravity and I never have been good friends, so I
Mm-hmm.
despise coming up those hills on my bike.
How did
Andrew,
Yeah.
have you ever
How
done
did
any long-term cycling like that?
Not long term, nothing past, like 60 miles maybe, but my dad definitely has.
Where is your dad today? He should have
Where's your
signed in
dad?
here by now.
Where are your folks?
Hey, David,
I don't know.
how did you get involved in this warm showers if you yourself aren't really a cyclist?
I am a cyclist. I've done 2 half Ironman triathlons back
Aha.
10, 15 years
There it
ago.
is.
All right. There you
I've
go.
done some centuries and some metric centuries and stuff like that.
What does that mean? Biking 100 miles?
Yep, a century's 100 miles, metric centuries 62 and a half.
A metric century.
Yeah, that's 100 kilometers for
I've never heard
in old money.
I like that.
That's pretty interesting.
I rode to Bay St. Louis one time.
From
Right.
New Orleans?
From New Orleans?
Yeah. There's a pretty big, there's like a very tall bridge on the way there. That's definitely closer than 50 miles. Cirac, you could just go and.
Yeah, is that like the Industrial Canal Bridge?
No, not that one. I went around that one because that bridge is
Scary.
But
terrifying.
Asher, you're not allowed
Yeah.
you're not allowed to bike on the highway though, right? So how do you do that?
Well, I went up to the lakefront and I like kind of went over next to like the airport and the marina there, and then I came back down through like some neighborhoods. There's a much smaller, less trafficy bridge across the Industrial Canal up there by the airport, and then I went down through some neighborhoods through like the east and got on Chef Monteur, and then just
Okay.
stayed on that until it joins up with Beach Boulevard in Mississippi.
Had you planned this out or did you just set out for a bike ride and end up in a car?
Yeah, we planned
Forest.
we planned it out. It wasn't all that hard to do though, really, in the end.
So
How many
Asher,
miles?
Yes, I think it's like 70 miles.
How long does that take?
I think we did it in about 5 hours.
Nice.
That's pretty
bad.
fast, isn't it? David, isn't that fast for a bike
Yeah,
ride?
it's fast. I mean, he's going 15,
Yeah.
17, 18 miles an hour, something like that.
Yeah. That's almost a metric half century.
Yeah.
Hey, Asher, how's your mom?
She's good. Unfortunately, she's off working on her little house right now, painting. I sent her a screenshot of the text you sent me, and she was like, "I just can't do it today," so she didn't
It's
come.
a sad situation. We're trying to
Nah.
hook up Asher and his mom to sing a song. I thought
Yeah.
today would be the day.
It would be a perfect day, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish she was here. I think she'll probably be here next Wednesday, depending on what we're doing.
She does live there, though. She's just gone over to work on her other property.
Yeah, exactly.
And how are you guys getting along?
Fine. It's been fine. There's there's way more like Fox News around the house than I'd like to see on a generally speaking. But
Well, what's the situation with Fox
I don't
News? What are
even
they
know.
saying?
They
shit
are
is poison, dude. You don't need to
Oh,
even
dude.
ask that question. You know
Well, they're
it's
not-
poison.
You know what's the
they're
what's
not
the
even
current
they're not
wisdom?
even journalists. Like they just like they're all angry podcast hosts, and they're just like screaming ridiculous opinions, and like they do outright blatant racist things. Like during our meeting I said this, but I'll say it again, I guess, for the record. Like I remember watching a couple of segments right back to each other where they were like, and it's pretty much a proven fact at this point that we don't know this, but it's pretty much a proven fact that Wuhan like has effectively like sabotaged America with this virus, like as if it were something that was a credible thought. And then they went immediately to like this woman who was a black scientist who said something to the effect of like, this virus is obviously being weaponized against black Americans, to which, you know, all the hosts on Fox were just like, that's ridiculous. Can you believe she would think a thing like that? You know, and it's just like, you guys like, that's racist. That's blatantly racist. Like for both directions.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And
So it's like, I don't
what's
know.
the-
Everything they say is stupid.
So wait, so if your mom is watching this, do you find it hard to make the peace with her about these kinds of things then?
No, it's much different. She actually hates it. She finds it really annoying. But
so
like,
she like watches it to just be informed about the other side's mentality, or what?
It's my stepdad who watches it.
Ah.
And while my mom actually like tends to agree with it, I guess, because she doesn't have any other news sources where where she gets her news, she thinks that like she obviously or honestly believes that all of the news is like Fox News. Not that they're all saying the same things, but that, for example, on another news channel, they're just barking and screaming stuff that isn't true about left wing, but from a left wing perspective.
right, well, that's what they think. Hey, what happened to Molly Perlmutter?
I don't know, but I'm getting.
I don't know.
So
Barrett's
many
here.
Still here.
people
This is
trying
good.
to.
Barrett is here. Hey, Barrett.
Yeah, Johnny Cage is trying to join the conversation.
Yeah, who's
Johnny
joining? This is
Cage.
good. Maybe
We all
can get some
remember
reports.
composer?
Maybe
John
we can get
Cage?
some reports from around. Wow, look at Barrett.
I was thinking the
Zydeco.
fighter
You want to get rid of that?
Okay, here come the
That's
Russians.
fun. That's fun. Okay, that's
That-
not even.
That was good. That was.
Just came on just to play his.
He
what do you
seems
call
so
that?
pleasant,
Oompa
right?
music.
That's good. You never know. That's some.
Not
Russian
quite
guy with his
Zydeco,
accordion.
It
And
sounded
Sherry
like,
Cirac
you
is
know,
here. Cirac's
Sounded
mom.
like-
Hey, Sherry.
Charles Daniels.
Isn't that interesting that
Georgia.
these like entries like kind of happen in waves, Andrew? I don't know if Andrew and I are the only people watching this, but like we'll be sitting here talking and then like 10 people will suddenly want to join
Yeah.
the thing at
There's
once.
I
some
don't
sort
think
of-
we can see that.
Maybe they're one.
You
Maybe
can
they're just
you
one
can
person.
turn that on the side of the.
You could, Monique, if you
Oh,
put
I
on the
see.
participants
You-
thing.
Okay.
Click on
Now I see.
participants. Okay, here's Cirac's dad as well. What are you drinking there?
Wait, they're on
What do you
mute.
drink?
Here, I got them. I'll unmute them.
Okay.
They have a little latency there, so they might be on the back end of things. Anyway, what did you ask them, Margaret? What are they
What are you
drinking?
guys drinking?
Matcha green tea.
Matcha green tea. That sounds
How-
good.
How California of you, right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you guys in California?
Like
Calabasas?
Calabasas, and that's
nice.
just outside of Los Angeles.
It's the North San Fernando Valley.
North Valley. Okay, so what is the COVID situation out there, Cirac?
I don't know. I'm here.
Well, I mean, the other Cirac people.
the Cirac.
Oh.
Well,
Cirac
The
Senior.
numbers are very low, except for the
there's a senior
The nursing
Yeah,
homes.
nursing home at like 44.
So are you guys going out? Are you allowed to go out?
Yeah.
So
Masks.
with masks, okay. So I've got a question about New Orleans for New Orleanians here. So the deal is here that you can go to a bar here if the bar sells food,
Yes, but you can't sit at the bar.
but you can actually open your bar if you own a bar if you have a food license, right, Monique?
If you have a bar and you don't have food, you can't open.
Right.
If you have a bar and you have a food license, you can open, but people can't sit at the bar. So you have to have either seating or takeout.
But people can sit there and have a drink in your bar if you serve food if they're 6 feet apart.
Yes.
But not at the bar.
Or
But not at the
not
bar.
actually at the bar itself. But
Right.
so you can only allow 25%
Yes.
occupancy.
And that's including employees.
Is it really?
Oh, yes, it is.
But you can
So
also
20
set up tables outside, right? In your parking lot. You can take over your parking lot with tables, right?
Yeah, that would be great and all if New Orleans had like normal weather, like Calabasas maybe. But the weather here is not,
Yeah, nobody wants to sit outside. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out if you can serve food, you're allowed to open. I mean, the concept here is we're trying to stop the spread of a deadly virus.
Right.
So why is it more likely that you would catch a deadly virus in a bar that serves no food than one that serves food?
Because you're not eating, you're just
talking.
you're getting drunk, and then you lose your inhibitions, and the next thing you know, you're like spitting in somebody's face.
Yeah.
But
Everybody's
if I'm doing
hugging.
Happens every time.
but if I'm eating French fries, I wouldn't do that.
Well, I think
You're less likely to get up and go to the next table and start having a conversation with people you don't know than you would in a bar.
Okay. All right. So
I
that's the
think also
logic.
the idea is that you're going to go in there, eat, and then leave, rather than like just go in there and sit indefinitely or until 4 a.m. or whatever,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
So the
Who
20
has birds? Who has birds? Where is the birds coming from? Sorry to interrupt.
I'm outside right now. That might.
Okay.
the outside people. Chris Roth is outside and Asher Griffith is outside. Okay, so Monique, the 25% of people who are allowed in any given establishment include the people who work there.
Yes.
So you can't even have 25% of your customers' revenue in there.
Right.
That seems insane, doesn't it?
It is insane. That's why a lot of places are having a hard time with it and still having to tout their takeout, because it's really, I mean, if you went to Giacomo's right now and looked at the floor plan, it's so sad. There's like 3 tables,
One in each room.
Yeah, it's just like it's really sad.
And it's like, how do you get anyone to work front of house in a situation like this? Like, I know they're not paying them hourly. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. So a lot of people the businesses that got the PPP loans are saying, okay, if you come back to work, I'll, give you the amount that you would be making if you were still on unemployment, because they have to, because nobody's going to want to come back.
Yeah.
But the problem with the PPP loan is it only lasts 8 weeks. And then after that, then what happens? Are we back at capacity, or are we still at 50%, still at 25%? That's the problem. Then people get off the unemployment, go back to work. And then 8 weeks later, everybody's like,
just screwed again.
Yeah.
But what is the option though?
It really is not. I mean,
Right. I mean,
Universal
if you say-
basic income.
Yeah, if you say
Well,
you
that's
say
a
no,
long-term option.
yeah, if you say no to come back to work, then your employer can report you to unemployment, and they'll throw you off unemployment too.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just such a catch-22. What they're trying to do is they're trying to change the PPP loan restrictions to help out restaurants to make it, a longer period of time, because we're going into summer here, and we all know New Orleans, July and August is dead to begin with. So it's not like tourists are going to be coming in from out of town and, filling up our bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
Shit. It's a pretty
dark.
dire situation.
Does anyone think that they could live without restaurants after going through this for like 8 weeks? Like, how many restaurants do we need?
I mean, forever.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say let them all go under or anything stupid like that, but I mean, like, this has been a change for all of us.
Right.
And have we gotten accustomed to not going to restaurants? Do we really need them?
The thing we haven't been doing is we haven't been having a lot of people over to the house. That's the big thing with restaurants is I don't want to cook a bunch of food and clean it all up. I want to be able to take them out to a restaurant and have somebody else do that.
But that's an interesting point that actually, Thomas, and David, yours too, because we've got so used to eating out. I mean, every restaurant was full every night now. People eat out all the time.
Right.
And suddenly now nobody's eating out at all, ever.
But there's
Yeah,
so
could
many
we
people
go-
that are eating takeout. Like it's way more than I thought. Like I
Right.
didn't think that people were going to be able to sustain with just takeout. There's a lot of people in New Orleans who love their takeout.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's really good. I've actually learned to cook. I have never cooked in my life. I have learned to cook.
That's awesome.
I actually kind of started to like it. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
this
very
is Thomas's
therapeutic.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is Thomas's point. Could we live without restaurants? Could we have is there going to be some sort of a brave new world in which we don't go out to dinner?
But
I mean,
then-
if I had to, I guess, but I think
Yeah.
that's
I've
But it
spent
takes
a
away-
world that's a little less rich than the one we left behind.
For sure.
You know,
I think
I
it
mean,
takes away from our social interactions, because that's what we use restaurants for, is like the social interaction and going out and the experience.
But why couldn't we just go to your house?
Yeah. Why couldn't you just bake a loaf of bread or whatever the hell and do it at your house and have the people that you actually care about over?
You can, but I don't know.
so that's not going to a restaurant.
Yeah,
No.
it's having people wait on you. It's the experience, and that's why I have such a hard time with this. Is I don't want to go to a restaurant and have somebody with a mask and gloves and paper plates and paper menus wait on me. That's not the experience. That's not the reason you go out.
No, we
You
can
know,
totally do that at home.
Right. So it's not all about just the food. It's the whole experience. Because I can cook, as Grant knows from my pictures,
Yes.
at home, a restaurant, meal. And that's great and everything. But sometimes you want somebody to wait on you, but not in a mask and gloves.
Right.
I agree. I don't even care about food all that much. I just like to go out and hang out.
Yeah.
Right, especially in New Orleans, where half
Right.
of the restaurant experience is about like the people you meet just sitting around at the restaurant and the camaraderie, just hanging out, which you can't
Yeah.
do at all if you're spread across the restaurant from each other. So
Right.
Grant, the last restaurant I went to was with you.
That's the last time we went to Chilango's. I wish that place was open. Is that open? I love that place.
Where is that?
Yeah, it is
I
open.
feel like it is open for
On
takeout.
Carrollton Avenue. It's excellent.
It's great.
That's the new Mexican place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
was in
haven't tried it
Kenner,
yet.
and then they.
Yep.
I don't know if the Kenner one is still open, but this place is really good. Graham and I had an excellent meal there, didn't we?
Yeah, it was great.
Whatever we had. That was our last. That was a long time ago now.
Last
God
restaurant.
almighty.
Last restaurant.
Boy, times have certainly changed since that conversation. Hey, who's going to play any music today for us? Anybody?
I have
Actually-
a broken tambourine that belongs to my children. If you would like me to
Yes,
tap
that's
on it a
something-
couple times.
Am I the?
I
Am,
have a little drum.
am I going to be on the hook with the guitar? I'll go.
Yeah,
Get it.
actually, you want to play something? Andrew
Do
Duhon
it.
says.
Totally.
Andrew Duhon says, "I'm still at the auto shop. Was hoping this would be quick, but not so far."
I have a small drum machine right here.
Wow, do you?
Nice.
Be like Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
Cirac,
that?
why do you have a drum machine? Are you taking up the drum machine?
No, I've always been interested in drum machines.
Where's your bass, Andrew?
In my room in your house.
Oh,
Oh, you left the bass at home? What is that, Monique? You have like a.
I
some
have
sort
like
of
a little.
Does anyone know
percussion
Charlie D'Souza? He's trying to join it. Sounds like a real
It sounds.
That sounds
sounds
real. I would
familiar,
believe that
yeah.
guy. You're
I'll
doing an
dump him
awesome
if-
job, Cirac. I've been watching the name of the list of people trying to get on here. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see that Barack Obama was just trying to get in
Barack
here? I don't
Obama
know
was
why you
here.
didn't let him in here, man.
I don't know
It's
why.
a lot of important things to say, Andrew.
Susan.
Do you think that could have really been Barack Obama?
That would be.
Wouldn't that be great if it was, though? And we
Oh
just
my
kicked him
God,
out.
that would be awesome.
He's tweeting right now that he was kicked out of your Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
That'll be the end of this show, dude. For sure.
That could be our episode title. We denied Barack
Yeah.
Obama.
Bye bye, Barack Obama. Okay.
Thanks,
Ash has got a
Obama.
guitar. So we've been making this show for 100 years now, almost 10 years. And Ash has been talking about playing the guitar on the show for how many of those, would you say?
Oh,
4?
4 years now, maybe.
Okay. So today is a banner day
Play a song
on Happy
for
Hour.
you.
Okay, Asher. So tell us, before you do this, tell us a little about your musical background. We don't know anything about this. See, I know you were in a band at some point.
Yeah, well, I've had 2 bands that lasted for quite a while in New Orleans. One was with my childhood friend. We grew up together, and my brother and I And we started playing actually right after. I mean, we'd played together since forever, but we started like having a band right after Katrina, because we were all kind of much like right now. We all just went to mom's house. And since we had very little else to do pretty much all day, every day, we started a band and we wrote a bunch of songs. So that band was called Love Hog. And
Love Hog.
yeah, we were just like a really grungy, heavy blues based trio kind of. And then later I got into a band called Grass Mud Horse, which lasted for a couple of years. And the reason that one fell apart was actually kind of, I think it was just kind of.
Whoa. That somebody just sent a message from me. I don't know how they did it. And then it's a nasty message. I did not send it.
Good job, Monique.
No. But I don't like the fact that somebody can do that.
How'd that happen?
They changed their name to your name.
Oh.
Wow.
But how did they get in?
Yeah, who are they?
Somebody sneaked in, whoever that was with a fake name.
Are you sure they didn't hack me?
No, they didn't hack you.
They left the meeting.
That's a great trick. So you get in the conversation under someone else's name who looks real.
What are they getting from this?
I would love to talk to these people.
Well, they could get me in trouble if I was like at a work meeting and that happened.
Oh my God!
That's what I posted on Facebook. I just want these porno people, these hackers, just to hang out and talk to us.
Let me know.
Yeah, right.
What makes you tick?
Why would you think that writing something like that is what is the object of it? There must be something going on. I mean, it's fun when you're like 10 or 11. Like when you have a band called Grass Mud Horse or something.
Yeah.
You probably think that's pretty entertaining. But anyway, so we got up to Grass Mud Horse, broke up.
Sorry.
Right. Well, in between Love Hog and Grass Mud Horse, I got a master's in music composition.
So cool.
So there was that. I guess.
Okay.
But I had assumed at the time that my career in musical academia my stint in musical academia would evolve into a career in musical academia, which by the end of my graduate studies, during which time I had taught music theory to the undergrads, I like a life of chalk dust and red pens was just an absolutely horrifying.
So you had to walk away from academia and as far as music, but why did you not want to still be a musician?
Well, there were a lot of things that I learned during my grad career, which were more life lessons than they were actual like school stuff.
Okay, but what's the answer to the question? Actually, did you think you weren't good enough, or you hate music, or what is the reason?
Chief among them, I think, is that I wasn't nearly as passionate. Still, I'm not as passionate or as like skilled at music as my colleagues were, but I was really passionate about like storytelling through sound. And like, if I'm honest with myself, the thing that I really wanted to do when I was a kid was like do sound for cartoons. And
nice.
And like I just sort of like, I guess enough people told me that was a stupid idea or whatever that eventually I just, and I mean, I definitely had
enough people told you it was a stupid idea. What sort of people?
Just like I had friends who were like, don't do a thing like that. That's a dumb like thing. And then like, adult people who are like, yeah, but how are you going to make your money? And then like,
But doesn't every single person tell you hang on to your dream and don't listen to other people and follow your own path?
Oh, absolutely not, dude. I'm a philosophy major. Like I know exactly who Asher
what
is
every
talking
piece of
about.
advice that you hear on every kind of self-help person says?
No, not if you're a parent. You're telling your kids to get out there and get a job.
Yeah. It's that. But it's
you know what I got for a graduation present? A suit. Grant. All right.
Well,
look at me. Do I wear a suit?
It's so funny.
And see, like the sad truth of that, honestly, is that I pursued a music degree because I thought that would be a solid bet for a career. Wherein
That's funny in
actually,
itself.
had I studied, studied something like sound production and film, then I'd be hired as hell right now.
Right.
But I'm not. So, but anyway, that's why I got into radio and why I've been having the most productive like past year of my life, I guess.
Yeah, your little cicada radio is doing great.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled with it. We're dropping 2 new shows, I think, this week.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Okay, so I started Cicada Radio because I couldn't find like a job producing radio for 2 good reasons. A, I didn't really have much of a portfolio, and B, there aren't any companies hiring in New Orleans.
The market is next to non-existent.
Yeah,
sure.
there is no produced radio, basically.
Yeah, so I decided to make one up, which for a long time was just like a handful of stickers with my logo on it, and me telling people that this is what I wanted to do. But then finally I got into like the Propeller Accelerator program, started making waves, got a couple of friends who were really interested in producing this show called River Runs Backwards, which still hasn't been produced yet, but that got a lot of people interested in Cicada Radio, like. And then another idea, which is where the show How Do You Like Your Eggs came from. And that show has really taken off. Like, I mean, according to our analytics anyway, we're pulling like at least 1,000 listens a week these days.
That's good.
Yeah.
So How Do You Like Your Eggs is a show about the service industry in New Orleans.
Right. So we got my friend Jake Lewis. He's the guy who approached me with the idea. And so the thing is, we get a guest on there. He and his friend Anna Gowan, who actually has a journalism background, interview a guest while Jake cooks them some eggs however they like them. And that's just kind of how they start the show, is by talking about how they like their eggs and why, I guess.
Right. The only thing I would say about that as a production is that there's photos from that show in your kitchen where the interviews are taking place, and there's a microphone on the table with a dirty white sock on it.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know whether that's meant to be funny or ironic, or.
I mean, it's hilarious, but honestly, for a long time, it is what I was dealing with. See, I got one of these guys now.
Now you got a proper good-looking rig there.
Yeah. But they're like $8 a piece.
What, the little?
Yeah, the puff thing. The puff.
That's $8. Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, dirty sock is like a fraction of that price.
You're right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good introduction to this song. Actually, what are you going to play?
Just find them in the dryer.
Right. Or behind the dryer. I don't know what I want. I don't know what to play right now. The first thing that popped into my head, I'll just play it.
Did you write it, or are we going to?
Nah, this is a song by Dan Reeder. I don't know if any of y'all are fans or not. How
well known is Dan Reeder, like in the sense of copyright?
I guess he's probably like, I mean, he was on John Prine's record label for a while. He may still be, but I don't think he's very popular. He's, I mean, one time I just like shot him an email and he responded right away, which is indicative to me.
Okay, we'll shoot him an email after you play a song and tell him that you played a song and you don't own the copyright to it, and not to come after.
Well, please don't sue.
Yes, please don't worry about it.
The reason I wrote him that email was because I wanted permission to use one of his songs in a piece that I was writing for school. And he was like, yeah, whatever, dude, that's cool. And if you figure out what the chords are, let me know.
That's great.
He probably won't really mind.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, cowboy says women, he means two different kinds. There's the real kind, and then there's kind in his mind, and the real kind is a mystery that he can't understand. The mind kind he knows like the palm of his hand. Yes, the mind kind he knows like the palm of his hand. Goes up, get along, doggy, little doggy, get along. The nights on the prairie are lonely and long, and he'll camp down in the canyon where the moon lights the land, and meet them ladies that he understands, and he'll meet them ladies that he understands. So bucket your fiddle and play me that song about the two kinds of women and the nights that are long and the camp down in the canyon with the ladies so fine. The one about how cowboys jack off all the time. Yeah, the one about how cowboys jack off all the time. It goes up, get along, doggy, little doggy, get along. Nights in the prairie are lonely and long, and we'll camp down in the canyon where the moon lights the land and meet them ladies that we understand. And we'll meet them ladies that we understand.
Okay, everybody's muted except me, Asher. So,
all right,
good job.
Hey.
Don't feel bad that nobody clapped. That's great. I wasn't expecting that weird line at all.
No,
No, the whole
I was
masturbation
expecting
thing came
it.
out of nowhere.
you saw it coming.
I thought the last line was meet them ladies in the palm of our hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so what's the name of the writer? Dan Reed?
Dan Reeder, yeah.
Dan Reeder.
Mhm.
Very interesting. It what happened to him?
He came out with another record recently, or a single at least, and it's called The Porn Song. And
I see
Yeah,
a
we're
theme
getting a bit of a
developing with this
theme,
guy.
yeah.
huh?
yeah, he's got a lot of really like sardonic, I guess, music about America. He's an expat to Germany now, but I think he gave up on this place long before
He's long gone.
really even warranted it.
Wonder if he's a cyclist.
He's the Randy Newman of songs about pornography, for sure.
He's the edgy version of Randy Newman, right? Or the more edgy version of Randy Newman.
I thought it also had a sort of a James Taylor, sort of a Sweet Baby James
Yeah.
vibe to it.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened. I don't know what he's.
Well,
doing
anyway,
right
Asher,
now.
that's nice that you I had no idea that you were that could sing and play the guitar like that.
Yeah,
Very,
that's awesome.
Hey, well,
See,
thanks.
I see he has another song named Food and Pussy.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. They go like, what do you want? We want food, or what do we want? We want a food and pussy. How come? Because that's the way God made me. I said, all right, I guess it must be okay. If you wop, 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 lam. Now, what do we want? We want food and pussy.
Man after my
How
own
come?
heart.
Anyway, that's how it goes. Over and over and over again. He's got a big thing where he likes to do that, which I kind of find really brilliant. A lot of the music that I like, that I kind of grew up on, was Mississippi Delta blues, which is extremely repetitive, and somehow he just like really is able to nail something like that, like really hit it out of the park, just singing the same thing over and over again.
right. David, what do you do for fun over there and whatever the name of that place is you live in?
I brew a little beer. I brew a little beer over here.
Are there bars and is there live music?
Yeah, there are bars and live music. I go to the Beer Hog a couple of nights a week. We got a little watering hole called the Beer Hog with a nice courtyard where it's sweltering hot in the summertime and blistering cold in the winter. But yeah, meet a few folks over there a couple nights a week. Bar keeps constantly running us out of there about midnight.
You get kicked out at midnight. So there's a bar called the Beer Hog, which is where you go, and then Ash's original band was called
Yeah, that's
Love
awesome.
Hog.
Who would have thought?
What is the situation out there in the deep south with the hogs?
We like pigs.
That's a good title for
know.
your next song.
So Asher's I like Cicada Radio. I love none of my overseas friends know about cicadas, but my brewing the brew that I make is called Armadillo Brewing because I hate those bastards. And my house sigil is the armadillo.
That's a great.
So you make your own beer out there in Alabama.
I make some occasionally, yeah.
And under the name of Armadillo.
Yeah, but I don't sell anything. I just give it away to my friends.
To drink.
Can you send us some?
Probably so, yeah.
Or is
David,
it like
how
illegal
long
to
have you
ship
been,
across
How long
state
have you been
lines?
married there?
35 years. Got married at the tender age of 18.
Wow.
Really?
It's a
my
good
Really?
run.
God.
18.
That is
I'm
terrifying.
impressed.
Have you lived in this
Great.
small town the whole time?
No, I lived in really rural South Alabama for a long time, but they didn't have a lot of computer programming jobs down there, so I had to move to the big city of Birmingham. So I'm up here in
Okay.
Birmingham area.
Okay, so how many years did you say? 30 what?
35 years.
35.
So did you like graduate from high school and immediately tie the knot?
Immediately tied the knot the next March after I graduated high school.
So you
Wow.
didn't get your high school sweetheart knocked up or anything at school?
No, I didn't have my first kid till we were been married about 5 years. So
Okay.
it was we got to know each other for a little while, and then
Okay, so what's the secret?
oh man, there's no secret. I mean, the secret is just hard work. You know, I mean, you
Not
can't
really, no.
it's just hard work. You
What
can't.
does that mean exactly though?
It means you can't have everything that you want, and they can't have everything that they want. But together, you can have everything that you can do a pretty good job and have a really fulfilling life. You know, it's
You can't have everything you want, and the person who you're living with and married to can't have everything they want.
Right.
So nobody's happy, really. That's the
like,
secret.
even if you weren't married, you wouldn't have everything that you want.
But maybe
right?
you're not unhappy, Grant.
Right.
That's part of it too.
Well, but I mean, you can certainly be happy without everything that you potentially want.
Well, that's
you know,
not a
so-
secret to staying married if you're already like that when you're single, though. I mean, if the natural state of being is that you can't have everything you want.
It's harder to raise a couple of youngins, you know. So I had to increase the population by a little bit. So I got a couple of fairly well apportioned youngins. So they're
Okay, so what I'm looking for is good advice from someone who's actually pulled it off for 35 years. Grant.
Can I tell you what my friend Doug's father said? My friend Doug told me this in law school. His father said, the secret to a long and happy marriage is don't have lunch. And what that means is
Don't have what?
you don't have lunch.
Lunch. LUNCH.
You go out to lunch with a colleague of the opposite sex and you say it's just lunch, and the next thing you know, you're having an affair.
oh yeah.
It's that simple. You know?
Have lunch.
That's the kind of
Right.
advice we're
Just
looking for.
lunch. Yeah.
I really thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna
You're
say
welcome.
something about. I thought you were gonna say something about like finding time for yourself or something like.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
meaningful.
So what you're basically
Something
saying is
spiritual.
keep your britches on when you're supposed to be on, right? Yeah.
Don't have coffee. Don't have lunch.
Just start.
This
Okay.
might be a lawyer problem.
Andrew, I think it's a everybody problem.
Oh, nice.
I don't know whether that's very useful advice. I mean, the idea is the bottom line is don't have an affair with somebody if you want to stay married, which is probably some people would totally disagree with that, of course.
Right.
We've had past guests
Yeah,
who
those
told us
past
that the only way to
guests.
stay
Yeah, yeah.
married is to have
Yeah.
polyamorous relationships.
Yeah, but I think what it means is don't put yourself in situations that might lead to something.
Or maybe respect the person you're
Don't
with.
have
you know.
lunch.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
even tempt yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
What-
you know
My
what?
wife was 19 when we got married. You know, we were high school sweethearts. Went to arch rival high schools, and we didn't know what we were getting into at all. You know, we thought we were madly in love, and we were madly in love, but we had no idea what life would throw our way. We just dealt with it as it came along. You know, it ended up being okay.
And have you been tempted to go have lunch with anybody in the 35-year interim?
Of course.
Quote unquote lunch. No, I mean I've been out with friends at lunch, but never on a one-on-one basis. I don't guess. You know,
I'm
I've kept
trying
my
to
britches. I've kept my britches on the whole time. When they're supposed to be on.
Keep my britches on. That's another good piece of advice. All right.
Does person ever advise you against like the big office business lunch? Were they worried that it was gonna like lead to some sort of Caligula like orgy?
Like everybody at the table.
Yeah, right. I mean, we used to go out for our business meetings together. Were you ever reluctant to do that, Graham?
Well, Graham, you're not taking this advice, I assume.
I'm not
He's
married.
not married.
There you go.
You're just handing
Not
on the
applied.
advice.
She doesn't need
Monique
it
is the
either.
most recently married person here, I believe.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thanks.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Don't have a private Zoom.
What?
Well, it's pretty impressive that, David, that you managed to stay married for 35 years and work out of your house. Well, does your wife work at home too?
She used to be the head lunch lady at a local middle school, but she had breast cancer, and a couple of things came around, and so she doesn't work outside the home anymore.
Okay.
But
so,
yes,
so both you guys are at home all day, and you're working at home, and she's at home too. Long before before the lockdown happened, even.
Yeah, the only thing we've been doing now is I don't get to go to Beer Hog every couple times a week, and she didn't get to go get her hair done, as often as she'd like. But she did go last week, so that's back on the table now.
Oh, that's good. So when is Beer Hog back on?
They were open Friday night, but I went down there, picked up a couple of 6-packs from the adjoining package store. There were no masks in the whole building. Nobody wearing a mask, not a bartender, not a patron wearing a mask. And a friend of mine and I turned around. I was wearing a mask in the package store. Said, we're going back to the house. We sat on my deck and got until 1:30.
Good for
Nobody
you.
ran us off.
Yeah, that sounds like a safer.
Good for you, David.
There seems to be an increasing number of people who don't believe that they're going to get this thing ever.
Yeah.
And they're not worried about it. It just seems to be getting more and more lackadaisical every
It's
day.
called arrogance.
Isn't like the number one selling book on Amazon like The Truth About COVID-19?
Pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic.
What is pandemic? And how did Bill Gates get to be blamed for all this?
Oh my God. It's just people got nothing better to do right now than sit around and think up this craziness.
Yeah.
So one person thinks it, and then all of the other ones believe it, and then next thing you know, it's the number one seller on Amazon.
What exactly is pandemic? Can anyone tell us in one sentence?
It was a conspiracy.
I don't even dabble in that nonsense. Yeah, I gotta stay away from that stuff. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but I can't even dabble, man. What about
I'm just interested to know what it actually says.
They took it down. YouTube took it down, so I never watched it.
Oh, really? It's gone?
Interesting.
Okay.
I don't know. Supposedly it was some conspiracy, but then other people are coming back and saying, oh, so you're going to tell me that every other country in the world is in on this too?
Right. That's ridiculous, obviously.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. No, obviously it's a virus. But it's interesting that people seem to be so determined that we have to end this whole suffering that we're just going to forget that it ever happened and hope that it goes away. It seems to be the new plan.
Are people out? Masks is insane. The whole that wearing a mask has become the symbol of everything that's wrong with America.
Or taking your freedoms away. This is all taking your freedom away by having to wear a mask. What?
Right.
Yes, it's the same libtard people wearing masks as the same people who want to take the guns off us.
Well, I posted a sign the other day. Every store has got no shoes, no shirt, no service. So what the hell is the big deal about adding masks to it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, here in New Orleans, most of the stores around my place have a sign on the door that says now you have to have a mask to go in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are going to have to get the idea if they want to go shopping in Orleans Parish. Maybe that will push people up to Jefferson Parish to go to, Dornax or something.
Are people out in the French Quarter, right?
I was in the French Quarter today. Not very many people, and those that were there were mostly not wearing masks.
Graham, you were at the
distance. But
what were you doing in the quarter today? Just wandering around?
I finally got my car back, and so I decided to take a trip to the quarter and see what was going on.
All right.
Not much.
Still pretty. Well, there's still no tourists here, right?
I saw people that look like tourists, but maybe like 3, not a lot.
Why the hell would you come here? I said, what is there to do here?
There's just, I don't know. People wanted. Remember, people came here right after Katrina. I think people just want to see like a city.
Well,
like
it was something to see after Katrina. It was a disaster. I mean, it was an amazing sight. You could see houses all smashed up and cars on the tops of houses and cars and trees.
Disaster tourism, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was an exciting time. I could see why you'd come here, but now there's not even anything open. You couldn't even get a meal. Oh, I guess you can get a meal somewhere.
Yeah, things are open.
Okay, so we have to get out of here, but hang on a second before we do. So, Monique, is Giacomo's open?
Yeah, today is the first day, 25%. There's a limited menu. You could go online to the website or to Facebook page and see the limited menu. You could eat in, but they're asking people to call and make a reservation since it's such limited seating. You can, like other restaurants, you can walk up and try and get a seat, but the restaurant has to treat it like a reservation. So they have to take down the name, the number,
Right.
and stuff like that.
So Marie,
And yeah.
how many diners can Giacomo's accommodate?
I'm not sure. I haven't been there because I do the catering, but I'm gonna ask because the girl who is doing it is gonna let me know how tonight went. So
Okay.
I'll find out.
I
And
feel
is
like it would
anything
be-
else
it's
open that
gotta
anyone
be-
can recommend before we get it? Is Chilango's open, Cirac?
Yeah, I was down there, it was like a few weeks ago, but they were open. They were doing takeout.
I wonder if they're open to dine in. Jill, what's happening on the North Shore? That's where I hear people are not taking any.
Yeah, you know, it seems to me, in my experience, it's about 50-50. People wearing masks and not, but I haven't been out. Like I've been to the grocery store and that's it. So I really don't know what people are doing. The traffic is as crazy as ever. So people are going somewhere. As far as restaurants, most of them I have not heard that they're reopening for dine-in, but you know, we don't have a lot of restaurants around here that have outdoor seating. So maybe that's limiting some from opening, but yeah.
Okay. So 50-50.
What I want to know, has anyone talked to the Maple Leaf, you know, the next door neighbors of Giacomo's, to see what their status is and if we're ever going to be able to reconvene together?
Well, they're a bar. They
They're a bar,
can't.
so
They
okay.
can't open. So they're all still hanging tight and
Right. Phase
just
one. It's
waiting.
just
Yeah,
still
just
phase one,
waiting.
and we don't know whether we can go back into a bar until we get to phase two, which is possibly phase three. Is it?
No, I don't know. Are
Yeah, I
bars-
think it's the last phase. Will bars be? Yeah, bars and music venues.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
New
Y'all come-
Orleans, the
Yeah.
Y'all come to
basis of
Pelham.
New
I'll
Orleans.
I'll set you up a table at the Beer Hog and
Yeah.
Okay, David, we're coming to visit you at the Bee Hog, and we expect a warm shower.
And I think 40 is the number of people that can sit Giacomo. I just counted really quickly, but I think it's around 40
Well,
maybe.
that seems to be
For-
quite a
40
few.
After 40 is 25% or whatever.
I'm thinking. I mean, that's how many seats I counted. I don't know if they'll sit everybody at that.
Well, if you
Yeah.
can turn that over twice in a night, I guess that's
something, I guess. Yeah. We'll
80
see.
covers. It's respectable, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
not
everybody.
when you're used to doing 3 to 4.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Yeah, no,
I
it's
really am
pathetic.
shocked by all this like eating out. I've had a burrito and a pizza in the last 10 weeks. Everything else has been cooked in house, man.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me.
It's true.
Sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting experience. Where did you get your burrito from?
Oh, what is it? Is it Felipe's just down the street from my house? Is
Oh,
that
yeah,
it?
okay,
Yeah.
that's-
But you have to
it's-
go to the market. So what's the difference between going to the market and going to a restaurant and them, handing you a bag?
Cost.
No, yeah, sure. That's mainly it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those ramen noodles
Yeah.
are cheaper.
I'm not earning much of any money, so like the
Nobody's
idea of,
working.
of spending more on food, I just can't. I can't justify it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. It's been Happy Hour here for another week. This is our very first ever total random show with no guests whatsoever. We pulled it off for an hour. Asher played a
Hey,
song
we
for
did
us.
it.
Yay.
We had some pretty interesting insights into what's going on around town and around the country, and we did actually manage to get some Russian porno. Monique wrote us a message about her huge ass,
No,
or someone.
no,
So it's been an altogether pretty successful show.
no show will be complete without it.
Yeah, very nice. Thanks for joining us, everybody. That's been Happy Hour for another week. The producer of our show is Graham daPonte. Our music producer is Monique Pyle. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Andrew Cirac is our digital producer. Asher Griffith is our Facebook Live feed director. And today, our musician and our music consultant is Christian Unruh. Our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, or actually just go look at our Facebook page and click on the Zoom link. And you can also check out our other happy hours on our website. It's neworleans.com. that we made previous to this one over the past 10 years, as well as some other shows we make here, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast about death, which is called Death the Podcast, never more appropriate. You can find other great Louisiana podcasts too at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. And between shows, you can keep up with us on a bunch of time-sucking social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can find those links on our website, itsneworleans.com. You can find photos from this show somehow or other on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Happy Hour Facebook page and on Instagram. Those photos were taken today by Jill LaFleur, and you can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. If you listen to the show on your favorite podcast app, thanks for subscribing to us. If your podcast app has a share option, try telling a couple of your friends about Happy Hour. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. On behalf of Andrew Duhon, whose car is in the shop, and so is he, and all of our Happy Hour crew who are on our show today, thanks for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. If we manage to stay alive for another 7 days, hopefully we'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour.